Okay, sekarang kita ke bahagian yang terakhir, the last segment of my conversation with acting president of MUDA, Amira. Okay, Amira, kita dah cakap pasal political party, pasal MUDA. Sekarang ni saya nak cakap a bit about Malaysia lah. Kita rakyat Malaysia ni, very complicated bunch of people. Tapi we still have to talk because the problem that we are trying to solve by political means relates to people, you know. And first question I want to ask you is this: kita punya education system, because pada saya lah, you know, central to the problem of Malaysia is education. Central. It's not religion, it's not ethnicity, it's not whatever. It's education. Yeah. And assuming that I'm right, you are also interested in education issues. You know. Saya tak nampak our value system, our nilai, our thinking can change very much unless there is transformation dalam sistem pendidikan. Okay. Every minister, when they come to power, they say, oh, we have a blueprint. Malaysia every 10 years ada blueprint. I don't know how many blueprint lah sejak I muda sampai sekarang. But the fact remains, our education is getting less and less competitive, less and less useful pada saya lah, you know. And it does not bring the people together. Kita lah salah satu society, masyarakat yang agak perpecahan, yang agak ketara, you know. And I think that's because of education. Okay. What is your MUDA punya central reform platform on education?
Antara benda paling utama bagi saya untuk sistem pendidikan ini adalah kita kena pastikan bahawa sekolah kita ni dia tak jadi kilang. Kilang ni sebab kita menganggap sekolah ni the only reason why you enter school adalah sebab you nak pergi kerja. That shouldn't be it. Education shouldn't be just about getting straight A's. It shouldn't be just about getting to university and getting good jobs. Of course, that is the pathway that you hope for. But more important than that, apa values that you tekankan dalam education, and how do you ensure that Malaysian students and young people of Malaysia daripada kecil dia faham sebenarnya kita ni hidup dalam negara yang bagaimana, sistem negara kita ini bagaimana, orang-orangnya macam mana, and how do we integrate with one another to live harmoniously with one another. The biggest issue bagi saya adalah perpecahan kaum daripada sekolah lagi. And to me, I don't want to touch about whether or not vernacular school sangat, tetapi there is a clear indication di mana kaum Cina lebih suka hantar anak-anak mereka ke sekolah vernacular dan sekolah international for one clear reason. Sebab dia tak percaya dengan sistem kebangsaan. Yes. And this is because kalau kita tengok pun research, Malaysia ni apa yang anak-anak kita belajar dalam tempoh 12 tahun, di Singapura mereka belajar dalam 9 tahun saja. And so looking at that data, kita tengok pula kita punya keputusan PISA yang makin turun. Kita lihat pula bagaimana daripada segi literasi dan numeracy di sekolah kebangsaan pun makin kurang. Jadi orang-orang Cina ni mereka merasakan I don't want to send my kids there. And so kalau daripada kecil kita tidak dapat pastikan budak-budak Melayu ni kenal Chinese and Indian bagaimana, budak-budak Cina kenal India dengan Melayu ni bagaimana, susah untuk mereka ada perasaan bahawa we are actually same people. Kita ni orang yang sama, we are human beings. Kita punya kalau kita ni darah kita sama merah. And so from the beginning we have to ensure that sistem pendidikan kita kuat. One of the things yang betul-betul kita dalam MUDA kita nak terapkan dalam sistem pendidikan kita, yang pertama adalah the importance untuk mewajibkan K-12 education. Maknanya pendidikan kita daripada kindergarten sehinggalah ke grade 12 perlulah diwajibkan kepada anak-anak Malaysia, dan kita strengthen kita punya pendidikan kebangsaan untuk memastikan bahawa from kindergarten to grade 12 ni mereka masuk dalam sistem yang sama, mereka keluar daripada sistem yang sama, supaya akhirnya bila mereka masuk ke dunia sebenar they already know. Daripada sekolah dia dah tahu ni adalah, this is the reflection of Malaysia. Sama juga daripada segi values. I understand the importance of teaching about values, but values cannot be taught by pendidikan moral contohnya. You tell them to memorize all these things and you expect them to understand what is the moral values of the country. Values have to be embedded in every step of the way. Sebab itu kalau kita tengok negara-negara luar where they did thematic teaching, for example, daripada segi pedagogi mengajar tu, kita bukan nak mengajar dengan whiteboard dan budak-budak menyalin saja. There has to be thematic. Bagi mereka sebagai contohnya role play, bagi mereka rasa dunia sebenar ni bagaimana and how do you work out these problems. Bagi mereka faham struktur dalam negara kita itu bagaimana and how do you ensure that menggunakan benda yang you belajar dalam mathematics ke, dalam science ke, dalam geografi ke, how do you solve real life issues. And this thematic teaching, pedagogy ni dah dipraktikkan dalam banyak negara, and not just orang selalu lihat Finland semata-mata, but we can't just look at one country because they don't have the same system as us. Kita lihat negara-negara lain sebagai contohnya, Tun Dr. Mahathir had a very good dasar pada waktu itu dasar pandang ke timur. We look at countries closest to us, Japan. We look at, even if it's not timur, we look at the Australia, for example. And they all have this thematic teaching in order to ensure values ni, dia dah ada daripada kecil. So, setiap syllabus kita tu, sebenarnya ada value-value Malaysia dekat dalam tu. I think that is extremely important dalam education.
Why is the government, you see, kita dulu sistem education kita bagus sebenarnya. I rasa lah when I was in school, I thought it was quite good. Masa tu of course cakap orang putih lah. Then we change here, we change that. Why is our leaders like to use school or education issues as a political punya ni? Why?
Satu adalah menteri-menteri ni masing-masing nak meninggalkan legacy mereka. Jadi walaupun daripada parti yang sama, tukar menteri, aku kena ada legacy aku. So I need to have my own legacy. And so this is the problem when I was in KPM. I think a lot of KPM punya officers was also very unhappy about this. Because bila you menteri baru masuk, you nak tukar ke legacy you. A very good, kita dah ada contohnya, kita dah ada satu policy yang sangat bagus, but you need to change it simply because it's not your policy. Itu yang pertama. Kedua, kenapa mereka menggunakan pendidikan? Because this is something that senang lah. Orang Malaysia semua anak-anak semua pergi ke sekolah. And so this is the best tool untuk you menang undi. Sebab semua orang tahu apa jadi kat sekolah. Tak semua orang tahu apa jadi dengan kita punya trade policy. Tak semua orang tahu apa jadi dengan kita punya sistem polis sebagai contohnya.
So dia punya visibility lah.
The visibility is there. And so education became the most accessible tool for politics.
Yeah. Jadi this is why I pun hairan juga, because education is such an important issue. Bila kita tanya orang, bercakap dekat bawah lah, kedai kopi ke, pergi sana sini, orang kata education. Everybody says it is. Tapi kita punya kerajaan, for example lah, bila this Madani kerajaan lantik, Fazlina, I've never heard of her. I mean, with due respect lah, I thought education minister has to be somebody yang dia punya pemikiran, dia punya pandangan on education, dia punya there must be something about him or her yang kita sekurang-kurangnya tahu, ala tuju what do we do. I don't know whether she's your friend, but I'm just saying. So I don't know. So I feel that kita tidak beri, this Madani government is not giving enough emphasis on education. Pada saya lah. Sebab the minister, for example, on the issue yang keluar dalam surat khabar, I don't know what is your position. Dual language. Some schools nak guna English and Malay, dual language. Tapi nampak gayanya, menteri sendiri pun do not really want to pursue that line. Some schools are told not to use dual language, walaupun ramai permintaan. Itu orang beritahu saya lah. Mengikut guideline-nya, saya difahamkan kalau ada lebih daripada 15 orang pelajar yang mahu, then you have to give
the DLP.
DLP, but it doesn't happen. So I said to myself, even a small issue like this, kita tak boleh address. And then seolah-olah our education system, we want to macam seolah-olah nak menjuruskannya towards another pemikiran atau nilai yang pada saya tak wajar lah, sebab education, as you said lah, has to be relevant lah. Relevant as a human being, and relevant for community, for society.
Betul.
Yeah?
Betul.
Jadi MUDA, I think, my view lah, it's good that you're focusing on socio-economic, but education, I think, is very important. And you are right, orang hantar sekolah vernacular school, I rasa, I like you, I don't think because they are racist. Because masa saya dulu, let me tell you, ni cerita lama lah. Sekolah Cina di Kelantan, Chinese, sekolah jenis kebangsaan Cina. I think di Kelantan ada satu tu. Let me tell you. Sebab orang Cina pun hantar sekolah kebangsaan. Because sekolah kebangsaan zaman saya dulu betul-betul kebangsaan, bukan Islam, bukan Melayu, but it's kita guna bahasa Melayu tapi bahasa Inggeris, tapi gurunya ada Cina. Guru besar saya yang saya sangat sayang sekali itu is a Sikh, Mr. Gopal Singh. Dan saya tengok sekolah Cina, guru Cina, guru semua ada. And it's quite international kita punya school. Tapi bertukar. Bertukar. Jadi sampailah sekarang ni orang Melayu hantar anak dia ke sekolah Cina.
Betul. Dah makin banyak.
So sekolah jenis kebangsaan. I don't know, few 100,000, kata 100,000 kita tak tahu. So I want to suggest to MUDA, kalau boleh, why don't, instead of changing national school, because I don't think you can change because there's so many people yang ada vested interest, you change vernacular school.
In what way, Datuk?
Don't call it vernacular lah. Satu, call it whatever name you want. The fees are supported by government. Grants given. You see, if the government values good education, if the parents think that the school is good for them, so the government should say, okay, I think that's a good idea, we support it. Tak usahlah dekat Pilihan Raya, I give you 2 million. This is what is happening now. Dekat Pilihan Raya, kawasan saya dulu, bagi. Vernacular school, change the vernacular, make it into a different category, like international school with a cheaper rate lah. Syllabus, I rasa that's easier to sell. Jadi orang Melayu tak rasa macam orang nationalist Melayu lah.
It's race based.
Because the parents want it. If you don't believe me, you can do a study. A lot of Malay parents want good education.
Betul.
And not everybody has the money to send to international school.
Betul.
Or some of them send to a private international school yang murah sikit lah. Tapi open up.
Betul.
Vernacular school. Open up instead of SJKC. Tak usah buang Cina tu. Ini Merdeka punya logo. You change the name. Rebrand it into a real national school. Because you cannot change the present national school.
It's a very interesting idea. I've never heard of this idea before, but very interesting.
And then you have Tamil boys. Okay. The MIC politician will say, oh, we must keep Tamil school. Because that's politics. Okay, you can keep, but they must have good teachers, you must have good books, you must have good electricity, you must have good... Government has to take over and help. And then make that into a jenis yang everybody can go in also. So you do a transformation that is less offensive to the nationalists. Yang suka cakap mother tongue. Oh, I want to keep my mother tongue. Dia dekat rumah cakap orang putih. Dia cakap dia kelai dengan isteri dia pun cakap putih. Tapi dia cakap mother tongue.
Anak-anak pun nama orang putih dah.
Anak-anak nama orang putih tapi masih lagi. Just think about it. How to reform education in an effective way, in a practical way, slowly. buanglah jenis-jenis kebangsaan tu, buang. Yang Cina tu buang, yang Tamil buang. Putlah MUDA ke apa.
Dulu ada idea ni, Dato'. Dulu ramai yang memperjuangkan sekolah wawasan. That's the idea.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Everybody is bad. But you will always have opposition to this.
Yeah.
Dia orang kata inilah elite lah, China will be suspicious lah. So if you tell the Chinese, you don't worry, I use your school. You must allow Malays to go to your school. We're not taking anything wrong. You can keep your mother tongue. You tell the Indian, I will revamp the school. I will do, but you must accept Malays. So Melayu yang tak nak improvement in the ni, they can either stay where they are or they can move.
Yeah. So integration tu ada lah.
Yes, there is integration. Okay, last part of my last part ni, I nak tanya you. You nama parti MUDA. Kalau orang tua macam saya nak join macam mana?
Boleh. Kita MUDA ni akronim. Dia Malaysian United Democratic Alliance.
Yalah, tapi orang tua ada tak dalam parti ni?
Kita ada ahli kita yang paling tua sekali, berusia 86 tahun. Kita ada yang bukan ahli tapi very strong supporters, ramai yang above 80 years old who have committed their support to MUDA. Sebab kenapa kita namakan MUDA, bukannya nak kata hanya orang muda boleh masuk, but because we want Malaysia to have faith in its young people. Sebab kita nak politik kita ni memberi ruang kepada lebih ramai orang muda, because we are the ones who have to inherit this country. But that doesn't mean kita tak percaya kepada orang yang lebih pengalaman. We know that the perfect mix adalah ada idea baru daripada orang muda dan ada wisdom daripada orang yang lebih berpengalaman. And that's what we want in MUDA as well. Yeah.
Okay, so now that MUDA is very well organised, ready for the battle, okay, ready for battle, and we hope that, you know, of course, I know Sadiq ada some issue with the court and all that, tapi kita harap benda ni akan, you know, be settled in a good way for him. I wish MUDA all the best.
Thank you so much.
I wish you and your leadership 25 orang tu.
Terima kasih.
Kalau your team leadership tu nak makan free apa-apa, you can come to my house.
Terima kasih banyak-banyak. I might take up on that offer.
Yeah. Because I tak ada kerja. Anak pun dah besar-besar. Jadi, you know, come to my house, then we can talk about it. I like to see improvement lah dalam politik, because I've done my bit, not much, but I'd like to see, you know, new energy. So whichever way we can help each other, kita tolong lah.
Terima kasih.
Yeah. So once again, thank you very much for
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.